A few years ago, I came across an idea and it completely changed my life. It reshaped the way that I make decisions, how I spend my time, and how I think about happiness. This idea gave me back my contentment and my ability to really truly appreciate and enjoy the life that I have right now without anything needing to be different or other than what it is. And this became the foundation of how I make decisions, how I spend my time, and how I move through the world. That idea came from a book called The Top 5 Regrets of Dying by Bronnie Ware. Bronnie was a hospice nurse who spent many years caring for patients in the final years of their lives. She would listen to their stories and reflect on their regret. Today, I want to share those 5 regrets with you and how they've helped me escape that spiral. But more importantly, I'll show you how to escape that relationship with constant comparison and always wanting more. Because here's the truth, we often believe that happiness will come after we achieve something: a bigger house, a higher salary, traveling more, having access to more material things. But true happiness isn't an outcome or a destination. True happiness lives in the process of how we live and experience our lives in the present moment. The first regret she wrote in her book was, "I wish I had the courage to live life true to myself and not the life that others expected of me." It's so easy for us to measure ourselves up against other people's highlight reels. We try to mold ourselves into what we think other people want us to be and what we see on social media and what fits into society's version of success. But this is what I've learned. You can't find true happiness living somebody else's version of success. It has to come from you being true to yourself. For me, that meant I needed to take a step back and really start to reflect on what is it that I actually value. Not what looks good online, but what actually brings me true joy and happiness. And it can help to start to reflect on, if you had all the money that you wanted, what would that make possible, so that you can actually start to think about what are the things that would truly make you happy that you believe money would create more space for you to have. So if in your mind you feel like, if I had more money, I would have more freedom, I would have more spaciousness, I would have more time to spend with my family or to be creative or to go on walks or to travel. Really start to think about what would money make possible for you so that you can reconnect with what you actually care about and not get caught up in that pursuit of more money, more resources, more consumerism. Because when you get caught on that end of what it is that makes you happy and you believe that it's the money that will make you happy, what starts to happen is, even though you are wanting money to get these other things, you get caught up in making money and you start to lose sight of those things. And when you're able to really connect with what truly makes you happy, you can stay committed to that, and then so many possibilities open up about what is needed to actually make that happen. Maybe it's not about having more money. Maybe I need to actually move to a place with a lower cost of living so that my expenses are lower, so that I have more time to do this thing that I actually care about. But really starting to connect with what truly makes me feel happy, not what I'm seeing on these highly curated reels and images, but what truly brings me joy. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. We think we'll be happy once we made it, but the truth is that happiness really isn't in the finish line. It's in the process. It's in enjoying the journey, even when your journey feels messy or imperfect. When you're in the state of seeing happiness as an outcome rather than a process, once you start to reach the milestones that you thought would actually make you feel happy, you can easily get into a place where you're just really burnt out and overwhelmed, and you don't even appreciate those milestones or things that you thought would make you feel really happy. And then you're on to the next bigger and better thing. So if you're feeling like that, it can be really helpful to just take a step back and reflect a little bit and ask yourself, am I sacrificing my peace and my true happiness for something that doesn't even actually matter in the long run? Start to shift your focus and shift your awareness to what you can enjoy right now. Where are there little sparks of happiness and joy and connection and belonging in your life right now? And one of the things that's been really helpful for me to remember is that consistency is a lot better than intensity. And really being able to ground into that can really help you start to actually enjoy and be more present in your life process. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. I want to read you something from Audre Lorde that I think is also really potent and connects to this. Audre Lorde once said, "I was going to die sooner or later, whether or not I had even spoken myself." My silences had not protected me. Your silences will not protect you. What are the words you do not yet have? What are the tyrannies you swallow day by day and attempt to make your own, until you will sicken and die of them, still in silence? We have been socialized to respect fear more than our own need for language. I began to ask each time, what's the worst that could happen to me if I tell this truth? Unlike women in other countries, our breaking silence is unlikely to have us jailed, disappeared, or run off the road at night. Our speaking out will irritate some people, get us called bitchy or hypersensitive, and disrupt some dinner parties. And then our speaking out will permit other women to speak until laws are changed and lives are saved and the world is altered forever. Next time ask, what's the worst that will happen? Then push yourself a little further than you dare once you start to speak. People will yell at you. They will interrupt you, put you down, and suggest it's personal and the world won't end. And the speaking will get easier and easier, and you will find you have fallen in love with your own vision, which you may never have realized you had. And you will lose some friends and lovers and realize you don't miss them. And new ones will find you and cherish you. And you will flirt and paint your nails, dress up and party. Because as I think Emma Goldman said, if I can't dance, I don't want to be part of your revolution. And at last you'll know with surpassing certainty that only one thing is more frightening than speaking your truth, and that is not speaking. For so many of us, fear of rejection, shame, being disliked can keep us from speaking our truth. And this can happen really somatically. Our bodies are literally registering this as a life or death situation, and we go into survival mode. But every single time that we don't speak our truth, every time we hold back how we truly feel, we're living a life that isn't truly our life. On the other hand, when we allow ourselves to practice setting boundaries, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when our body is shaking and it feels so scary, we are actually saying yes to something that we truly care about and that's truly connected to our longings and to our true happiness. And we're making more space for ourselves to access that rather than not setting those boundaries, and then we're actually saying yes to a life that we don't want. And this is really the path to us being able to deeply connect with our true happiness and joy. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. It can feel really hard to prioritize friendships or to find time to have friendships. And once you start having kids, that can make it even harder because you just have less time. And when we live under the conditions we live in now, where the cost of living and the cost of life is so high, it feels often like we don't have enough time for connections with people we care about. We're burnt out, we're tired, we feel hopeless. It can feel really hard to find time to connecting with our friends. And also, this is something that can truly bring us a sense of belonging and connection, which is deeply important and necessary for our nervous systems to be well. I wish I had let myself be happier. This is the one I come back to most often. We can be so hard on ourselves, constantly punishing ourselves, telling ourselves we're not enough, saying really terrible things about our weight and about the way that we look and about us needing to be better or do better. Or even when we get something that makes us feel really happy, we can get really afraid of losing it and not allow ourselves to actually experience happiness and enjoy it. But what if you gave yourself a little bit of permission to just relax? What if you gave yourself an invitation to your shoulders to just invite them to soften a little bit? What if you gave your body permission to just allow yourself to breathe a little bit deeper, take up a little bit more space in your body, and just reflect and ask yourself, is this tension really supporting me and who I want to be? Is this tension making it easier for me to experience happiness or joy? And if not, can I allow myself to release a little bit of that tension if it's not supporting me in living my most fulfilling life? Instead of chasing that next goal or that next thing that we want or should have or that would make our lives so much better, just take a moment to reflect on, what can I appreciate about my life in this moment right now? And the more that we focus on what we can appreciate about our life in the moment right now, the more we bring awareness to that, the more that we can increase our capacity to see more and more of that joy in the world around us and in the lives that we already have. Gratitude and presence are the antidotes to this toxic culture of consumerism and nothing ever being good enough. These 5 regrets are a reminder that life isn't about chasing perfectionism. It's about finding joy in the journey and the process. It's about appreciating what you have in the moment. And it's about living in alignment with your values and what you truly care about. So I want to leave you with one last writing from Audre Lorde. She said, "I want to live the rest of my life, however long or short, with as much sweetness as I can decently manage, loving all the people I love and doing as much as I can of the work I still have to do. I'm going to write fire until it comes out of my ears, my eyes, my nose holes, everywhere, until it's every breath I breathe. I'm going to go out like a fucking meteor." And with that, my question to you is, what's one thing that you can do today to bring more joy and more gratitude and more meaning into the life that you already have, that you already get to live in this moment, and to give yourself permission to be happy, to experience your happiness now? Let me know in the comments. I would really love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for being here with me and sharing this space together. You are enough exactly as you are, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.